Planet Zoo, Planet Zoo. It's time to play Planet Zoo. Hello. Welcome back to Planet Zoo. I'm Martini4, and we're on episode 2 at Talbot National Zoo. Today we're going to be starting the Sandcat, Meerkat, and Fennec Fox Habitat House. I decided to put all three of them into one location since they're small habitats and smaller animals. I thought it would be pretty nice to have them all in one little location. This build will probably take about 2 or 3 episodes to finish it. Just this first episode took me so long to build. Just getting everything right. Just had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like. And trying to execute that just took a long time. I actually built it in sandbox mode first, just to try to get an idea so it wasn't taking me so long in the recording, and it still took me a long time. So this episode will be a little bit longer because I'm getting the framework of the building down, and then the habitats don't take quite as long. Okay, so I realized that in my first episode, I completely forgot to mention the reasoning behind the name Talbot National Zoo. So one of my favorite book series to read is called Zombie Fallout by Mark Tufo. And the main character in the book, his name is Mike Talbot. So I figured Talbot would be a good name for my first zoo. The book series is a zombie apocalypse story, but it's filled with tons of humor and sarcasm. The characters are hilarious. Mike is a germaphobe caught amongst zombies that are totally disgusting, and he gets blood and guts all over him, and it just totally grosses him out. It's a hilarious series, but it also has the gore and tense moments that you would expect from a zombie book. It's the kind of book that when you start reading, before you know it, the day's gone and you finished it because you just couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next. If you haven't read them and you're looking for a good series to read or listen to, I highly recommend this one. There's like 20 books in this series now. I could be wrong. There's so many I can't remember what the last one was. I think it might be up to 21. You can get the paperback, digital, or an audio copy on Amazon, of course. See if I can get a link in the description for anyone interested. I'm just a huge fan, not getting any promotions or anything from it. Just love them so much. I want to spread my interest out to everyone. So anyway, onto the build here. I have the walls in the shape of my design finally together and trying to figure out where I want to get it placed. I did have to do some terraforming. There's a little hill right there that I had to kind of cut back a little bit. I was trying not to do that. I was going to just try to use the terrain as it came and just build my habitats around it, but this one I already had in mind before I even started the zoo, before I even opened up a map, so it just got in the way and I had to take care of it. Now I know my color choices on these are not great. I'm not very good at picking those out, but a lot of it will be covered up with rock work anyway, so you don't really see too much of the building itself once it's finished. Here I am trying to get all the mesh walls put together for the sand cat. They're gonna have like a huge outdoor area. The boards I used, I realized I should have just used thicker boards instead of trying to place doubles on them to cover up the mesh on both sides, because later on, as you'll see, it just ends up being a huge problem and a pain in the neck. Just trying to get it to copy and paste everything properly. So for the design on this build, I had a vision of putting the mesh walls, as you see, on both sides of this tunnel, and having it so that the sand cats could climb up over the tunnel and people could view it from these windows up here on the second floor, and then there'll be enclosures on both sides of the entrance on the inside of the building. I thought that would be an awesome idea, but the game had other plans. So apparently, when building a habitat like this, you can't have the animals going over top of a walkway when they're considered dangerous animals. So every time the cats climbed up and over the tunnel, everyone would take off running because a dangerous animal had escaped their enclosure. The only workaround I found was to just make 2 enclosures with 2 pairs of sand cats, 1 on each side, and then just block off so they couldn't go over the tunnel, which you'll see later on in the video. I end up extending my pathway upstairs to come out over the tunnel so people could just walk out there and view into the habitats from above the walkway. Just give some added viewing. And then on one side of the building, I'm going to have the Meerkats, and the other side will of course have the Fennec Foxes. This episode will be focused on the sand cats. You'll see once I start detailing it and putting in the rock work and all of the plants and the trees and everything, I end up not having enough space for them. Whatever it's called, the navigatable space for them to walk on. So I end up having to remove a bunch of stuff, and then I don't think I ever went back and really tried to make it look nice, which I still need to go back and do that. So it ends up one side of the enclosure just kind of looks plain and bare, but it was the only way I could keep them happy at the moment. Here you see me putting in my barriers, and this is where I made the mistake of thinking that just because I had the tunnel there, that the game would allow the cats to go over the pathway that goes through the tunnel, which was not the case. If anyone knows a way to make that work so that I could make it one large enclosure, that would be awesome. Leave me a comment down below. But like I said, I ended up just taking the barriers down each side of the tunnel and just having 2 sand cat enclosures, just to kind of give it that effect that there's one large enclosure. I guess for a while I will let you enjoy the speed build here, and then I will be back in a few minutes to talk more about it. So here you'll see me struggle with the pathing. I know everyone has trouble with the pathing in this game. Most of the time, I don't find it too bad. But this particular build, I had so much trouble with it. Eventually, I got it to work out. I ended up having to redo it 4 or 5 times probably, because I kept changing how I wanted it to look up top. Doing second story stuff has always been difficult for me. I haven't done too much of it, but for this build I really needed it, and I thought it would look really good. Then I ended up, the pillars messed up the pathing below, so I couldn't put my sandcats in, so I had to fix all of that. All the concrete flooring down there I ended up removing because I decided I didn't like it. It just didn't fit the aesthetic I was looking for. So all of that was deleted. A lot of the ceiling that you saw me put in ends up getting deleted as well, just because I changed my mind so many different times. And I've actually got the Meerkat already built. You'll see that in the next episode. And then I'm going to start working on the Fennec Fox today, right after I get done recording this. So hopefully I can get those episodes out quicker than once a week, just to kind of get the channel built up and hopefully get people interested in it. So all of those orange tiles will be going away. You'll see that I moved the keeper hut and the bathroom, and I move all of that to directly behind the stairs so that I can put my indoor enclosures for the meerkats in there. A lot of things just, I change it as I go, just because I feel that it'll look better. So I'm sure you understand how that is. You know, if something doesn't work, just change it and try something else until you get something that you like. So now I'm putting in all the rock work for the sandcats. Just trying to cover up the walls. I have the keepers will only be able to enter the indoor enclosure, so I'll keep all their food and water inside, and the rest of their enrichments on the outside, so guests will be able to view them from the outside as well. So on that note, I will leave you to it to finish out some more of this speed build. Alright, I would like to add that all of this climbing stuff that I placed on the inside, I have never seen the Sandcats use it. So I don't know if they just don't want to, or if there's something within the game that's preventing them from climbing. Maybe the ceiling's too low, or I don't know. But aesthetically, I think it looks good. I have not seen them go into that cave at all to sleep. They just sleep outside. So the webcam in there is kind of pointless. But I'll leave it there just in case. Now here, I'm starting to build some rock work, and you'll see the climbing branches and poles and stuff that I placed to start building over top. And I assume that you've noticed I ended up using two different rocks, and that was completely by accident. But by the time I realized it, it was too late. I didn't want to go back and delete everything, so I figured why not just keep the red rocks on one side and the darker brownish gray ones on the other side, just to kind of just to show the different styles that could be in their habitats. And it actually worked out pretty good, because I ended up having to split the habitat into two anyway, so it's just two different habitats that use two different kinds of rock. Really disappointed that my idea didn't work. I thought it was going to be so cool, and once I got the cats in there and unpaused the game, waiting for the guests to go in and start viewing everything to get some cinematics and stuff, and no one was going inside. And then I realized that they were all running as soon as they got to the null barrier. They would start screaming and run away. So then I realized that the notification that an animal has escaped was popping up. So I had to totally revamp that and think of another way to do it. But in the end, it still looks nice, and I'm still pretty happy with it. So that's all that matters. The one really disappointing thing about the barriers not working on this is it really cut down on the space for the habitat. So even though I have two sets of sand cats, once they have babies, I immediately have to take them out because there's not enough space for them. And it's the same on both sides, because they're essentially the same size on both sides of that tunnel. But other than that, it's all right. Here I'm starting the roof, which, as I said, the wood planks, I should have used thicker ones, because this would have been a lot easier to grab onto them. I cut a lot of it out because it was really boring just moving planks up and over the top of it, and then all of the mesh that you can barely see anyway. I did forget to turn off the climbable option on the walls and the mesh, so my cats kept climbing out and just walking up the side and onto the roof and getting out that way. That was really annoying for me. It took me a while to realize that all I had to do is just turn off the climbable walls on everything, which a lot of the indoor climbing things that they're supposed to climb on were attached to the walls in the building. So when I turned off climbing, I turned off climbing for all of that, so then I had to go back and select everything pretty much individually and just reset it all. One day I'll figure out how everything works and make my life much easier. So here I'm just putting in all my education, all the boards and the speakers. I like to use those on everything, just because that's what I've always done. That's what I've seen done. So it keeps the education up. Now the outside, I kind of do some landscaping around the front here. Not too much because I know everything's going to change. I didn't want to take it all the way around the side of the building because I knew the other habitats were going to be there. But I knew right here in front there wasn't going to be anything, so I did a little landscaping, make it look a little nicer. I don't know if there's a sand cat sculpture or anything. I currently don't have anything. I have done some of the career mode zoos to kind of unlock some of the statues and whatnot. I was hoping there would be something that I could place out here on those rocks, but I didn't really find anything I liked. So if anyone knows that if there is a sandcat statue from one of the career mode zoos, let me know in the comments so I can play through that and get that statue. If not, I'll probably just leave it the way it is and move on from there. I try to keep the plants biome related. Some of them don't quite coincide, but they're close enough. I try not to place tropical plants in a desert biome, even on the outside, just because I kind of want to keep it a little, I don't want to say realistic, but just kind of keep that feel. Technically, I probably should have had another animal right across from the tortoises, something that was more the tropical rainforesty style instead of the desert style, but yeah, maybe it'll just be a transition. So here we're going into the cinematic, kind of winding up the video here. So I appreciate everyone that stayed this long. I know that it was a longer video, and please like and subscribe if you would. Help me out a little bit, help me grow the channel. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.